Welcome, everyone, to this second week of G.I. Joe versus Cobra Showdown. We are here to determine what the best G.I. Joe classified figure in the Prophet Director's collection is. As you can see, the brackets started as this, and last week we did the G.I. Joe brackets, and this is the results. As you can see, Scarlet defeated Lady J, and will now have to fight Bazooka, who defeated Roadblock. Then Wild Bill defeated Recondo, and he'll have to fight Snowjob, who defeated Quick Kick. Mutt and Junkyard beat Shipwreck and Polly, and they will have to fight Airborne, who defeated Grunt. And Snake Eyes and Timber defeated Spirit and Freedom, just barely. And they will now have to fight Sergeant Slaughter, who defeated Duke. Again, just barely. And this week's brackets, we're going to be deciding who wins our Cobra battles. The fights will be, as you can see, Copperhead versus the Cobra Eel, the Iron Grenadier versus the Iron Grenadier Bats, the Crimson Baroness versus Storm Shadow, Red versus Blue, the Crimson Guard versus the Cobra Officer, the His Tank Driver and Gunner, essentially the same figure but different genders, versus the Televiper, Road Pig and Raucous versus Scrap Iron and his drone, the Televiper versus the Snow Serpent, and Cobra Commander versus Serpentor. So, before we get started, why doesn't everyone on the panel introduce themselves? Curtis, why don't you go ahead and start? Tell the people who you are, where they can find you, and why you are the way you are.
Name's Curtis Schultz. Find me on YouTube, Instagram sometimes, under Sergeant Schultz or Sergeant C.A. Schultz or Kurt Kenobi. The way I am is because these people on YouTube made me this way. And that's all I got.
Typical leftist blaming everyone but himself. All right, Digital, how about you?
I, of course, am the Digital Caveman. You can find me, like it says there under my name, youtube.com/@Digital Caveman with 2 N's, because if you only put 1 in, you're going to go somewhere you don't want to go and watch some stuff you don't want to watch. So make sure you put the 2 N's on there. I'm also on Instagram, Threads, sometimes. Used to be on Twitter. Don't visit there anymore. X, whatever the hell it's called now. And I do action figure reviews, as most of you watching probably already know. If not, go check my channel out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, definitely check out his channel. The last week he did all his top 10s for the year, and they're all very good videos. Check him out.
They are.
Bull, how about you?
Yes.
What's up, everybody? Bull 80, aka Bullwinkle 80, and sometimes, if you're lucky, Merman. That's about it. You can find me on Instagram, Bullwinkle_80. I don't post a lot, but you can go check out what I do have out there. Pretty decent stuff. And otherwise, I just hang out with a bunch of lonely YouTube toy podcasters.
Well, as a lonely YouTube toy podcaster, thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Don't get bullwinkled.
And lastly, we'll have Casual Toy Chat on with us tonight at some point. He's going to be late. But in the meantime, because his votes are important, we are going to go ahead and just assess his vote to how he scored these figures. Because we did, in fact, get everyone's initial scores on these figures, which will be the base score that we go forward on. And then everyone will vote, and each vote is worth 5 points. So even if the initial scores are very skewed to one person, it still could swing depending on our moods at that moment. So anyways, let's get into it. First up, we have the Cobra Eel. Code name, file name classified. Birthplaces, various countries. They're great at underwater demolition and marine engineering. See, they can blow things up and build them.
And swim.
Isn't that wonderful? And there's their box, and they will be fighting. There's their stats. See, now this is something I added that wasn't here last week.
Cool.
So this was how each of us voted initially. I scored them at 16. You see, we scored them on character, figure, accessories, nostalgia. So I had given them a score of 16. Casual gave them 14. Digital 15. Bull 13. And Curtis 15. For a total score of 73. I'm not going to go through all of that with each one of these. I'm just breaking down the first one so you get the idea. We're not going to spend that much time on it. Next up, they are fighting Copperhead. File name classified. Birthplace unknown. But we know he lives in the swamps in the Florida Everglades, and he's neighbors with the Dreadnoughts. What else is important, really? So, and his initial score was 87. And he scored Copperhead higher than he scored the Eels. So unless Cash shows up before we're done with this initial battle, his vote will be for Copperhead. But their initial scores are there. And yeah, there you go. Why don't we talk a little bit about this battle here? Curtis, we'll start with you.
Copperhead. He's my vote. Reason why is because it took me forever to get him as a kid. I always wanted him, and I finally got him. He was my favorite. Like, he came with the boat, and it was just fun to play with. I'd play with it in the grass or wherever, in the dirt. But you know, it was a great figure, a great nostalgia for me. It was a pretty cool character read on the file card. That's just about all I gotta say right now.
Yeah, Copperhead is also going to be my vote, I believe, here. The Copperhead, the classified figure itself is amazing. The Copperhead figure was like the first, with the O-Ring collection back in the day, he was like the first swole figure that we got. You know, he was the first one that looked like he worked out. Right? Because he predates Roadblock. And his hand cannon with the sight on it and the holster for it on his back, like all amazing shit. Now don't get me wrong, the eel is fantastic. It's a great army builder. Yes. The way they did the helmet on the figure is fantastic. But he does suffer a little bit because his spear gun naturally came out of the package very bent and wouldn't unbend without severe heat. But still, amazing figure. Love the figure, but Copperhead is just better. And when you get into the comic book aspects of it, Copperhead is a very cool character. He does a lot of training for Cobra. He's a boss, and so much a boss that they made him the leader of the Python Patrol. But yes, Copperhead is going to be my vote as well. Digital, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, this one wasn't that hard to do. Now, I rated both of these guys a 5 on nostalgia and 4 on accessories because, you know, I had both of these guys growing up, and they were, you know, used figures. They got used a lot. in battles. So, and the accessories that the classified come with, you know, they are great accessories. Copperhead kind of comes ahead in the character section because he's actually an individual character, whereas the eels are kind of a faceless army builder type. And then on figure, Copperhead comes out ahead as well because of some of the QC issues, like the knees with the eels. At least one of mine had really bad knees. One of them had okay knees, but one of them had really bad knees, and so that's the thing. So my vote goes to Copperhead.
Nice. I mean, the eel was the second figure to use this buck. This torpedo used it first.
Yeah.
Bullwinkle, how about you? So far, it's 4-0 for Copperhead here.
Well, you can go ahead and make it 5-0 for Copperhead. It's definitely my vote. Nothing wrong with the eel. I remember when the eel came out as an Amazon exclusive, and everyone was losing their minds. They couldn't get it. It was sold out for a while. Then it would go back in stock, and now I see him all the time everywhere I go, sitting on the racks like Target and Walmart for the retro carded one. I like the figure. I haven't had any QC issues with either one of these figures. I don't really have a lot of nostalgia for the eel. I didn't recall playing with it as a child. I definitely had the Copperhead and the water moccasin. Loved those two. Always loved the color palette of the Copperhead, and the classified figure, in my opinion, is just it's a really good looking figure with that color palette, man. It's so reminiscent of the toy that I had, and that's why I picked Copperhead.
All right. Well, that being the case, that makes Copperhead the winner. So that's going to be our end screen for this battle. And Copperhead, with an additional 25 points added, now has a score of 102. So moving on, the next battle, the Iron Grenadiers, my troops, and they were not scored favorably by a bunch of people, kind of shockingly. Bull in particular hated them. Not sure why, but they have a score of 64.
They're associated with
and they are going up against the Iron Grenadier Bats. I know this isn't an Iron Grenadier Bat file card, but we don't have one because they didn't exist back in the day. And the Iron Grenadier Bats scored slightly better at 69. I understand the nostalgia scores being really low for these because they did not exist when we were kids. But the rest of the scores should have been decent, at least, because the Bat is a hell of a troop builder, and the color scheme on the Iron Grenadier Bats is far better than the original.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So 64 to 69. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. We need to take a quick look back here. 15 on these. And 15 on those. Oh, nice. Casual. We're going to have to hope you show up soon.
Why don't we let the chat vote for Kaz?
Well, if it comes to that and we have to, then we will.
That sounds cool.
But in the meantime, this time I'll start. I'm going to have to give my vote to the Iron Grenadiers here. Now, granted, on my old channel, when I reviewed the Bats, they were like the first figure to get a perfect score on my reviews. The only figure ever to get a perfect score on my review, and this Bat's better than that Bat. However, we're not just judging it on the figure alone this time. We're also judging it on character and nostalgia. So that's why it's a little bit lower than the regular Bat would have been in this situation. However, the Iron Grenadiers, man, call me biased, but they are like my personal troops. And they are also, they look like somebody took a Nazi officer and mixed him with Darth Vader. So that's a great look for the figure. The only drawback to this to me would be repeating Big Ben's weapons. and like yellow or not yellow, but red bipods and stock handles. Like they look kind of goofy. I realized they were just trying to tie the colors together, but they really don't look right. But other than that, I would say it's, for me, like I said, it's personal bias. Iron Grenadier gets my vote, though. Digital, how about you?
Well, as far as either one of these goes, I did pick both of these up. I haven't opened them up yet because I'm not that far along with the review process on them. But I rated both of these guys a 1 on nostalgia because, of course, the bat, that particular bat, didn't exist back then, and this particular version of the Iron Grenadiers, from what I understand, is a later version, not a real American Hero version, but a later version of them. So not a real strong nostalgia for those guys. Now, as far as like the figures go, I rated that bat a 5 because, I mean, with all that gold trim on it, it looks fantastic. And then, a little less so for the Iron Grenadier himself. I rated them both a 3 on character, and then on accessories, the bat edged out the Grenadier, by a point. So my vote is gonna go for the Iron Grenadier bat.
All right, Bullwinkle, how about you?
Just to preface this, I don't have either one of these figures. If I ever see these figures in retail, I'm pretty sure I will pick up the bats. I'll probably pass on the other one. Nostalgia wise, you can tell by if you looked at my scores, neither one of these mean anything to me. But the bat does mean something to me for the bat in general. If you look at the two figures, if I'm just looking at them, the bat looks to me like the one that I would navigate towards due to the color scheme of that and the gold. It looks really nice. That's why I said I'll probably pick it up. And that's why the bat is my choice for this versus right here.
Understandable. The clear chest plate, too. It's the first one to be released with the clear chest plate, which lends itself to looking like the original lenticular chest plate, which is another good thing, which we'll get the same clear chest plate on the retro card one. So, we'll get that original look again. But in the meantime, this is really good. So 2-1 bats against Grenadiers. Casual, I'm so glad you showed up on the last one. You rated Copperhead higher, so we just gave your vote to Copperhead over the Eel. I hope that's all right. But on this one, the scores were tied, so I'm so glad you showed up when you did because we genuinely need your vote here. So let us know what you think here. Can't hear you.
Sorry. Yep. My bad. All right. So, what am I doing? Just the general vote or the nostalgia and all that?
Well, you're gonna talk about to say your piece about the figures and give us your vote.
Okay. Both of them fantastic figures. Both of them have great loadouts on accessories. The Iron Grenadier, I preferred without the helmet more. But they're both fantastic figures. And I guess overall, I'd say that the bat would be my favorite probably. I love the gold black, the gold and black and red, and I guess
no arguments there. So that's 3 votes for the bat and 1 for the Iron Grenadier. Curtis, how about you?
Welcome, Cass. That docks you a day's pay. You must send us all classified figures.
I was out making 2 days pay.
I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you, man. Now, I do not have either one of these figures. They look good to me. I have no nostalgia for them, but they do look good to me. I'd probably pick both of them up. I really like that leather jacket that the Iron Grenadier has. You could probably even use that for like other things if you wanted to. And then the bat, yeah, that gold just pops, man. Makes you want to get it, you know. So I don't know which one to go for. Oh man. Should I ask the chat for help? Can I do a lifeline?
Oh,
It's a
no, flip a
as long
coin.
as they respond within a minute.
Pick the
Vote.
bat.
Vote chat. What should I get?
Help Curtis out, Chad. Well, Rob says Bat Army.
Yes.
Matt.
Geek Homeworld says 69. I don't know what that means, but he's laughing about it.
Digital says Matt. Digital, you
Digital
can't
already
vote.
voted. It doesn't count.
Ah, dang it.
Mark
Mark
Cosplay
Cosplay
says
said
black and yellow, black and yellow.
That's Matt.
Big M
Bat.
says Bat. I think the consensus is going to be Bat here, Curtis.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll go with bat.
All right. Well, that's a shame for me because that means my Iron Grenadier is a loser.
Wah, wah.
And the Iron Grenadier gets another 20 points, bringing their score to 89. The Bat,
Well,
the Iron Grenadier Bat.
At least one of your soldiers made it, right?
Yeah, well, they're not going to. I mean, they're going to have to fight Copperhead with a score of 102 next time. So unless the Bat gets all 5 votes, he's got very little chance of moving on to round 3.
Yeah.
But Casual, since you were a little bit late, before we move on to the next figure, why don't you tell the chat who you are, where they can find you, and why you are the way you are.
Casual toy collector. The name says it all. I'm not too uptight with toy collecting. We do it for fun. I pick up. I do it for fun. Pick up anything that I just think looks cool. I do host shows on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Wednesday is the Hump Day, Happy Hump Day shows. Friday is the Flex Friday show. Saturday is the saturated stunt Saturdays. We talk toys, but we also like to have a good time, and it's for 21 and up. So it's not for the children. Yeah.
We lose somebody?
All right. So on Wednesdays, go see Kaz if you want to watch camels have sex.
Right.
On Fridays, go watch Kaz if you want to flex, see
Yep.
those muscly men.
Yep.
And on Saturdays, if you've wet the bed and it's saturated, go see him then.
Yep. Exactly.
We lost.
All
didn't we?
right. So moving on to the next battle. That's unfortunately our end game here. This is the final screen. The result of this battle, making poor profit director feel sad inside that no one likes his troops. But anyways, moving on. Next battle, we've got the Baroness. In particularly, well, see, look at this. They say birthplace classified. There isn't even a file name. We know her name's Anna de COBRA. Anyways, it'll be the Crimson Baroness. And here were her scores, her initial scores. Scored pretty well. I had to sleep on the couch because Curtis scored her higher than I did. Kind of I now I have to question whenever Sergeant Schultz is alone with her. But she has a tally of 84 points, and she is going up against Storm Shadow, another one without a file name. We know his name is Tommy Arashikage, and we know his birthplace is Okinawa, Japan. So I don't know why this shit's not showing, but whatever. And his scores were pretty good. Digital really loves this figure. And his initial scores were 89 points. So starting off this battle, since we're going down the line, it is Digital's turn to start. Digital, why don't you start us off here?
Just in time.
My internet dropped out there for a minute.
Sorry.
So, okay, where are we? Storm Shadow and the Baroness. I will say I really like this Crimson Baroness version. The updated parts on it are really cool. I do like the newer accessories that she comes with. She still comes with that crazy robot snake thing. And of course, she has wigs and removable glasses now, as well as a couple alternate face sculpts. And Storm Shadow, he's Storm Shadow, badass ninja. I mean, what else can you say about him? And his accessories really match up with what I remember the original figure coming with. The case, his backpack's a little bit different there, but just the nostalgia factor, Storm Shadow really beats out on the nostalgia factor in this case because, back in the day, there was no Crimson Baroness. It was just Baroness. And that's not to take anything away from this figure, but, my vote has to go with Storm Shadow.
All right. Bullwiggle, how about you?
First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the chat. I just want to tell everybody what's up. Mark, Ed, we got Queen Bee, we got Raw, we got Roughshod, Biggie, just a lot of people out here. Rob78. Just want to tell everybody what's up. Delmas, thank you guys for stopping in and checking us out. I'll make it short too, since I talked about the chat. It's got to be Storm Shadow all day for me every day. I could just sit here and talk about it, but it's always going to be him. Nothing against the Baroness, nothing against this Baroness figure. Just a one-on-one battle, it's got to go with Storm Shadow. He is G.I. Joe. When I think about G.I. Joe, he's one of those people and figures and that just pops in your head. He's like Snake Eyes, right? Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, for whatever reason. They are G.I. Joe. So that's why I have to go with Storm Shadow.
Well, all right. I would argue the Baroness was far more predominant in both things, but that's all right. Casual, how about you?
Man,
Everybody has opinion.
so like they were saying, there wasn't a Crimson Baroness, so nostalgia wasn't high on this one. But she's got a great loadout of some awesome weapons. I wish it was the same gold that they used for the Iron Grenadier bat, though. Like they're not really shiny like the bat stuff is, but she's got a great loadout. The Baroness is you have a very, very attractive lady. The Storm Shadow is tight too. Storm Shadow probably gets it on nostalgia, but man, honestly, I think I would give, like, looking at him here. I'm not a big fan of the. I'm a fan of Storm Shadow because he is G.I. Joe, like Will said. I don't like his hands being gloved. I wish that they were bare hands and he just had the bandages wrapped around his wrists or whatever. But man, I would give the overall vote probably. I might even be contradicting my original votes, but looking at it here on the screen, I'm giving the overall vote to Baroness, I believe. So
Nice.
yeah, she's got a lot more
Awesome.
stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fake sculpt where she's biting her bottom lip is just too pricey.
Yeah.
Curtis, how about you?
This is a hard one for me. Storm Shadow is nostalgic very much. He is. You think of G.I. Joe, you think he's in it. So this figure I like a lot. It comes with some good equipment. I think it's a really good figure. The Baroness, the nostalgia is not as much there because it's the red suit, because you never really saw it. But this figure is a great figure. It comes with all that stuff you see right there. The red is like a metallic, is great. Her body sculpt is superb. Look at them. Look at them abs. Look at that camel toe. You should see her ass. You should see her ass.
Uh-oh.
So, like,
That's his lady you're talking about.
Hey, like I said, he scored a higher than I did, so I'm a little worried about leaving them alone together.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give her the win.
Nice. Yeah, so for me, I mean, to avoid another night on the couch, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it and tell you that my vote is for Baroness. However, I have to say, I feel it's justified. I mean, look at the face sculpts.
Yeah.
Look at that biting lip. Look at that cool-ass fucking snake mask with the shiny gold. There's your bat gold right there, Kaz, on that mask.
Yeah, why didn't we get that on the guns though and on her belt?
She's got the well, because that's paint and those are molded in that gold marbly shit.
That little swirly twirly plastic.
The snake laser, amazing. Extra glasses, so you can go with the little square gold ones or the clear circular ones.
Right.
Regular hair and action hair. Pair of Uzis, pair of pistols, pair of blades. Gold figure stand. Like Baroness is getting my vote here 100%.
Silencers.
Silences, yep, absolutely. So yeah, the Baroness is gonna get 15 points here because she's winning 3-2 on the votes, and with a score of 84 to 89, that puts her score at 99. Beating Storm Shadow by 1 point. Storm Shadow is
Devastation.
So Baroness will be moving on, and I won't have to sleep on the sofa. So there's your end screen for this one.
Wait a minute. We need a recount. I think that's a tie, isn't it? I think it was a tie.
It is not, sir.
Mark Cosplay, check it. Check the math, Mark Cosplay.
Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, their names are like synonymous. If we were playing Family Feud and you were like G.I. Joe, name a character, like Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are some of the first names people would blurt out. So
I get that, but for me personally, it would be Baroness and Destro.
Oh, that's you.
he said the vote fit.
You are.
Yeah, he doesn't want to sleep on the couch.
It is me, but look what logo's right here on the screen.
Fake vote.
See, Ed gets it. Ed gets it at this fix, Bo or Bull. See,
Geek Homeworld said the vote's fit. It's simple fake vote.
see,
Fake
Rob
vote.
78, 100 Storm Shadow. See,
You see those big knives? You see those big knives she had?
Yep.
She had them at my throat and made me promise I'd vote for her.
No, you know what, Bull, you're absolutely right. I can't deny that would be a tie score.
I knew it.
However, it's the Profit Directors Collection.
That's fine.
So in
We'll
a tie,
go with that. We'll go with that.
I'm pushing the girlfriend through.
So in the event,
complain if they want.
Tie is broken. Get him the hell out of
Hey,
here.
Digital's going to tell it right now. Tell it, Digital.
the rules specifically state in the event of a tie, it is the Profit Directors channel.
It is.
This is
And he gets
Joe.
the vote.
So
Well, only
gets to break
I'm
the
gonna
tie.
say this, guys. I'm gonna say this. That's only the rules when the Baroness is involved. Any other ties that happen, we're gonna go to the chat for a vote.
Okay.
But it's the Baroness, so and I don't like the couch. It's not comfortable.
It looked like the chat like the Baroness over Storm Shadow.
As much as you're
Oh,
on the
did it?
couch, you should love it.
It looks like it. I could be
Nice,
wrong.
nice. All right, well there you go. See, but she would have won anyways. Nice. Anyways, moving on to the next battle. We've got red versus blue, the Crimson Guard.
Oh man. Whew.
Like amazing backstory on these guys with the Fred 7. One of them was actually Cobra Commander for a while. You gotta love them. Again, and their initial score was 85. Amazing figures.
Yeah.
And they're versus the Cobra Officer. Incredible figure.
Yes.
And their initial score was 78. It can still go either way because, each of our votes is worth 5 points. But this time it is Bullwinkle's turn to start.
Well, I was one of the ones that during my vote, looking back at the scores, I put the Cobra officer ahead of the Crimson Guard. Not that I dislike the Crimson Guard. I have a few of them. I have a lot more of the Cobra officers. When I think G.I. Joe, I think more of the Cobra officer look. When I think about the toys I had more of the Cobra officer looking toys. I don't even think I had a Crimson Guard figure. I don't really recall them too much in the cartoon. I know they were there. I just when I think back, it just the blue's the one that gets it for me. And that's why my vote was going to go for the Cobra officer. Because their accessory layout's about the same. They both come with plenty of stuff they need, so the boxes look great. So yeah, Cobra officer.
All right, Casual, how about you?
Man, so the Crimson Guard was a favorite of mine as a kid. I had a couple of them, and like I used to have battles with the Transformers, and usually the Transformers were stomping the GI Joes and all. The Crimson Guard was making plays with him, and he didn't really get damaged like that. This one got 5 all around except for accessories. For me, I reserved on the accessories because I wasn't super impressed, and I knew some of the competition that was going to be coming up. I kind of reserved 5s for guys that had a lot more stuff. But the Crimson Guard, hands down, was one of my favorites as a kid. I understand where Bull's coming from with the Blue Troopers and all, but they were an afterthought for me. They were whatever. They were just floating around. If I had them, they were cool. But like I really leaned hard to the Crimson Guard. So in the final, I gave all 5s except for accessories. I gave 3 on accessories again because I was reserving for some big dogs that had better accessories. But the vote, my overall vote definitely goes to Crimson Guard. Just a favorite of mine when I was a kid. I had a couple of them. So I love it, man. I love it. It's a good figure.
I don't disagree with you on any particular point. Sergeant Schultz, how about you?
Oh, I love the Crimson Guard. I love the Cobra officer. But I always had trouble collecting the Cobra officers and troops. They were hard to find for some reason up here. The Crimson Guards were a dime a dozen, so I had a bunch of those. They're both great figures, and these figures, they both do really well. I can't complain on either one of them. But I'm going to go with the Cobra officer.
Hey, I just wanted to interject, but I don't know. Another thing too is the trooper for me felt it just kind of feels gruntish, nothing special, and the Crimson Guard feels like elite. He's like a top tier or something.
Right.
All right, sorry. Yeah, just the way he's dressed, I don't know. Anyway, I'm out. That was all.
Gotcha.
I had to throw that in.
Like a royal guard.
Yeah. He's like top tier. He's top flight.
All right. Well, my personal my thing on this, I do love the Cobra officer. I think it's the best representation of a blue troop going from O-ring to classified. The gear he comes with is amazing. The figure itself looks great. The cloth mask on the face as opposed to the mechanical thing that's on the trooper, way better. The officer emblem on the helmet, fantastic. However, when I was a kid, when the Crimson Guard came out, it replaced all my blue troops. I immediately bought like 6 of them, and Crimson Guard were the guys, flanking me and Cobra Commander, like all the way back, So the Crimson Guard is going to get my vote here. But it is a close fight. The officer's amazing, but the Crimson Guard is just so freaking iconic to me. Not to mention my favorite story arc in all of the comics was the Springfield arc where Fred 7 took over as Cobra Commander. Oh, such a good arc. And it introduced like the whole sleeper cell agent thing to Cobra. man, just really, really great stuff. So the Crimson Guard gets my vote here. Digital, how about you?
I think you guys have pretty much touched on every aspect I probably would have talked about on these guys. The officer, great sculpt, updated from the Cobra Trooper, and why they don't use this more with the Trooper torso, I don't know. The head and the arms and the legs should really, that's what they should be using on any further troop figures, because those pinless knees especially seem to hold up better in poses than the pinned stuff, at least with Hasbro plastic. The only thing I can think of that nobody touched on with the Crimson Guard is, yes, he does come with a removable sidearm. However, it's the wrong pistol. He had a revolver in his original release. But other than that, I mean, the sword, the rifle, the backpack, those all dip into that nostalgia factor. So I'm going to have to put my vote with the Crimson Guard.
Nice. Yeah. And incidentally, the 25th anniversary Crimson Guard also had a revolver. So, yeah. All right. So it looks like the Crimson Guard is taking it down here, bringing their score up to 100, leaving the Cobra officer as a loser.
Bullshit. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, he has to go eat with the regular troops in the mess hall.
Yeah. Be gone, you little waste. There's your final screen for this battle.
The Crimson Guard he's going to protect Cobra Commander and shit. Y'all go clean up.
Push the broom, peel the taters.
Wash these dishes. These dishes, grunt. Anyways, the next battle, we've got the Cobra Hiss driver / gunner, same figure, different gender.
Man.
And they were scored fairly, I guess, with a score of 72 overall. I scored them higher than anyone, as you can see here. And they were going against the Televiper. And they were scored fairly well as well. I mean, decent at least. Anything over 70, I think is a decent score. I mean, all of these figures are good figures. Let's not make any mistake. But right now we're dealing with a 1-point lead for the Televipers. So this could go either way very, very easily. And it's the casuals' turn to start.
Man, so this is another one. I guess in hindsight, it was really like the red characters really popped out to me. I guess when I was a kid. So this one, it was the Hiss tank driver for me. Either way, I wasn't impressed with the accessories. The hands didn't do nothing for me. The guns weren't nothing super special. I didn't care about the shovels or axes and none of that. But overall, nostalgia, quality of the character. Like the Hiss tank tiers those were some really well made figures. They posed really easily. They weren't, it wasn't hard. You didn't have to battle them to pose them. So it was 5 across the board, but since I didn't count the tank as an accessory, so I gave 2. And then the Televiper, he's cool. I want to say he got 4s across the board. Overall good. I like the ability to head swap, the different head swaps, so you can change up your character a little bit. I enjoyed that, but overall, the vote is going to the Hiss tank driver. It's something about the characters in the red suits that I used to like when I was a kid, I guess. So
nice, yeah, and we couldn't put the Hiss tank in it,
and the vote is for either the male or female. I guess it would be how you take the vote. So
right, take your pick, whichever you like better.
I love the ladies, so. All right. It was, since it was a chance to vote either or.
Right. Curtis, how about you?
Let's see. The his strike drivers are very nostalgic for me.
This one was a hard one.
It is a hard one, but let's see. They both. I had no issues with either of mine. Moving their parts, their articulation. The way I look at it is they're like the his tank driver is an accessory to the his tank. That's the way I look at it. The same with the pod for him. I don't know. I don't know a lot about besides his the words and shit going across his glasses or whatever, but I really don't know much about that guy. But I'm gonna go with the his tank driver.
All right, that's 2 for the his tank driver. I'm gonna go ahead and defend the Televiper just a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
The Televiper is exactly what it needed to be. It's a great rendition of the 80s O-ring figure. The backpack, the hose, the gun, all exactly what it should have been. The only place it loses points for me is the fully masked head should have had some words going across the lenses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the black head and the white head, they both should have been normal Televiper heads like they are. But that third head, they could have done something to utilize the the text across the lenses with that one or something. But they chose not to. But the his tank is my ultimate favorite vehicle of all time. And as a kid, when I got that his tank, the his driver was the first red Cobra Trooper that they gave us. The very first.
Right.
And that red just blew my mind as a kid. And I'm like, why aren't all of Cobra red? You know, their vehicles are black and red and their troops are all blue. Why? They should all be black and red, you know? And
Yeah.
the his driver, like, it still acknowledged the blue with the chest plate, but it gave us so much black and red that just made me love it. Not to mention, you know, the thigh boots, the awesome helmets. Like, yeah, I have to. Unfortunately, this is going to be settled here before Bull or Digital get to talk, but I'm also voting for the his driver. Bullwinkle, I'm sorry, Digital. How about you?
Well, I have to say, I did not back the his tank, so I do not have one. I can't judge those figures, in hand. I just have to judge them based on what's been said here and other things that I've heard and pictures that I've looked at. But the nostalgia factor on those two are real low for me because I never had a his tank when I was younger. And in fact, I didn't have a 3 3/4 scale his tank till maybe about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. The last time that Walmart had them. And so, the nostalgia factor for those are real low for me. The Televiper, on the other hand, I think it's the perfect pairing for the Televiper to come with the flight pod because as a kid, the Televiper was the one who was always flying the flight pod for me. And so I thought that was a perfect pairing. And, even leaving that out, like Prophet said, this is pretty much the perfect rendition of this character. The original one, he had kind of like bare arms, rolled up sleeves. Yeah. But so that's a little different on this, and I understand why they did it that way. They give him sleeves so he can be a black guy or a white guy or a fully helmeted guy. So, and the accessories are great, and that gun that he comes with, some kind of mega laser blaster, is what I always thought it was. So, just a cool guy. So, in this case, generally I would lean to the red, but thigh boots on a dude, not a great look. So I'm going with the blue in this case. So Televiper gets my vote.
All right. Bullwiggle, how about you?
Well, let's start off by saying that Hasbro did a great job on making both of these figures look like they did from the 1980s, except the Televiper and his, like Digital was saying, having fully sleeved instead of a half sleeve. But still, though, with the three heads he has, the weapons look just like the ones that he had in the 80s. His tank driver looks just like they did anytime they make it. I don't, you know. I also am very partial to the His tank. I love that vehicle. Sometimes I don't know if I love the blue more than the black, but I like both of them a lot, and it makes me a little partial towards the driver of that. But like I said, they're both great figures. I have both of them, no issues with QC. You know, they are what they are. They play the roles they need to play with the accessories or the vehicles, whatever you want to call them, they come with. But I'm going to go with the His tank driver.
Well, all right. Yeah, and I do have to say we are going to wind up getting the retro card Televiper will have the rolled up sleeves.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
So, but that's 20 points for the His driver, bringing his score up to 92, and leaving the Televiper a loser.
Get him out of here. Get out of
So
Everybody
that's
says.
our final screen for this battle, folks. That is our final screen. And I think rightly so. As good as the Televiper is, that his drivers are absolute perfection.
here. Something about their
moving
red,
on.
man. Something about their red.
The next battle, we've got Road Pig.
Oink oink.
And Road Pig was scored very well. However, as good as Road Pig is, and his dog that's even better, unfortunately, he's going up against Scrap Iron. And Scrap Iron is obviously one of the best classified Cobra figures. He killed it with a couple of us here, as you can see, and it's 80 to 88. So the only way Road Pig's moving on is if he gets 4 out of 5 votes here, and we'll see what happens. It is again Curtis's turn to start the battle.
Road Pig is a great figure with accessories. That dog is freaking awesome. All his accessories are awesome. He comes with 2 heads, you know, a couple other weapons, a hammer and all that. But then what's his name? Iron. Dang, I'm drawing him. Scrap Iron. Hell, Scrap Iron is really freaking cool, especially with that little remote tank missile launcher he's got. It comes with the little like iPad or whatever to fucking get his stuff going and all that. It's really, they're both really excellent figures, but my nostalgia is gonna go to Road Pig. That's who I'm picking.
All right. Yeah, I too absolutely love the Road Pig figure. I think Raucous is one of the best figures made this entire year. Now I realize he's on the same buck as Junkyard, but the paint and the head sculpt are so much better on Raucous. Like, not to mention like that kick-ass fucking pig hammer he comes with.
Yeah.
The pig helmets, the all new buck, the brand new big football player buck. Like, oh, like if they're gonna make a refrigerator Perry, that's your buck right there.
Yes, it is.
However, Scrap Iron, somebody's got a serious echo going.
Yeah.
All right. So, however, Scrap Iron was one of my absolute favorite Cobras as a kid. Like, I didn't even have Road Pig as a kid, so there was zero nostalgia for that. Although in the comic books, Road Pig being Zorana's like simpish boyfriend kind of did build him up story-wise for me. But Scrap Iron, oh, his love for explosions, his psychopathic nature, and then you add on the accessories. He's got the anti-armor drone, the blast effects that you can have those missiles look like they're firing. You can have ground blast effects for where the impact is happening. The removable helmet with the amazing face sculpt, the awesome web gear. Like, oh, I hate to say it, but as much as I love Raucous, I have to give my vote here to Scrap Iron. Digital, how about you?
Well, I have zero nostalgia for Road Pig. I don't really care for the figure. The only reasons that I would ever pick this up, and I didn't pick it up, I don't own it, so there's full disclosure there. But if I were to find it on at a good price, I'd pick it up for Raucous and the cinder block hammer. Not that I could see that taking many uses, because you whack it against something real hard one time and no more cinder block, but it still looks cool. Scrap Iron, on the other hand, to me is the definition of what G.I. Joe Classified series should be. Some modern updates leaning heavily toward the nostalgic factor. And this figure hits it perfectly. It has all those classic elements of the original figure, even down to the housing for the missiles. And I do like the fact that they've updated his missile launcher. It's on wheels now. It's more like a drone. He controls it with his heavily modified Nintendo Switch with some extra Wi-Fi antennas on it. And it's just amazing. And I love like the blast effects that come with it as far as the missile shooting out. I'm not that big a fan of the explosions. They're okay, but for me, Scrap Iron is going to get the win here.
Nice. Next we've got Bullwinkle.
Well, first of all, I'm glad to see that it's a deluxe figure versus a deluxe figure. It makes it a little bit easier to look at the whole layout to what it comes with. The Road Pig, it really hits the nostalgia. I had Road Pig as a kid. For whatever reason, I don't have it anymore, but I have a couple of his weapons and accessories that came with it. I think I have his file card. I must have traded him or something back in the 80s for something else. I never had Scrap Iron as a child, but I did have a few of the burgundy drones or missile launchers because they came in those accessory packs, and I had a few of those, and that hit the nostalgia button only for the drone, not the figure. I have both of these. I have not opened up the Road Pig. I will say it does look better in hand or looking through the box rather than what they were previously showing before I could see it up close, because I was like, what's up with that body? It looks awkward. They should have made him more muscular. I don't know. He looks kind of on the bigger side, but in hand, it looks great. The dog looks cool. People are raving about it, including Prophet. But that drone, I'm telling you, man, that drone. And another thing that makes me really like Scrap Iron and that drone is I found that bad boy at Walmart for like $11. So I bought one at full retail and bought two for $11 from Walmart. So I have three of those. The blast effects,
Nice.
The missile launchers, everything, the head sculpt on Scrap Iron. Even though he doesn't hit that nostalgia button, I'm going to have to give my 5 points to Scrap Iron and that amazing drone.
Yeah, I and I actually still have an O-ring scrap iron. And I do remember the maroon missile launcher you're talking about from the accessory pack.
Yep.
That was accessory pack 2, I believe.
I still have mine. It's upstairs.
Great stuff. And I also bought 3 of these, 1 at retail and 2 at discount.
Perfect.
Casual, how about you?
So the character Road Pig was cool. Also, scrap iron is also cool. Accessory, what I don't just the way the Road Pig looked didn't do it for me. It doesn't feel like Road Pig, or it wasn't what I was wanting. I guess in Road Pig, I think they're getting us ready for Refrigerator Perry. They're trying to figure out a way to get that to happen. But like the dog is the biggest point in that. With that it was cool because of the dog. Scrap iron is just badass, man. And you can't lose with the drone, the effects, the impacts, the launching off of the rockets, and his head sculpt. Like he, he's done seen some things. The overall vote goes to scrap iron, 5 across the board. Like I was really happy with this purchase. People had chances to get them on discount too, as y'all were talking about. So just this was a good look all around, 5 across the board, and he gets the final vote. I like the dog.
All right, and that means Scrap Iron with 4 votes to 1 wins and is now at a score of 108. And Road Pig is, in spite of the fact that he's packaged with the figure of 2024, he is the loser. So this battle, that's your final screen.
Get him out of here.
The next battle, we've got the Snow Serpents. Amazing figure. We're going with the deluxe one. And he had a score of 84 overall. And he is going up against the Techno Viper. Regular release, but I would argue comparable to the deluxe with all the gear he comes with.
Yep.
And he got a score of 88 to start. Now, normally, if we were going with the regular way that we were doing things, it would be my turn. However, there's not enough for everybody to go first twice. So I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice my starting off and let Digital go first this time.
Okay. Thank you, Director. When it comes to these two, I mean, I love both of these guys when I was a kid, and you know, they got to see a lot of action in the GI Joe battles, and you know, I again, like Scrap Iron, I think the Techno Viper, you know, it's slightly modern, updated, and leaning very heavily into the nostalgia factor. And then they did that with Snow Serpent as well, but I think they tried to, I don't know, they tried to deluxe it too much, maybe, with the wolf pelt and stuff, which is a cool accessory, but you know, for something that they were trying to sell as an army builder, I mean, yeah, you don't have to put that stuff on them, but then, you know, you end up paying for a bunch of accessories that you're not going to use. And then the fact that he didn't come with his little, you know, like the mortar that the original figure came with, you know, that was kind of a bummer too. And it's a bummer that they didn't include that piece with the retro release of this guy. But so,
yeah, incidentally, it should have come with Doc too.
So, you know, I'm going to have to give my vote to the Techno Viper on this one. Again, I think it's the right balance of the nostalgia factor with some modern updates. And like that hologram thing is great. A great update. So Techno Viper it is for me, my friends.
I agree 100%. I will say that the Snow Serpent, amazing figure, and I bought one of these deluxes and a bunch of the retro card ones. And now I have a squad of snow serpents that are all different, you know.
Right.
The fact that they cheaped out and gave him Bazooka's rocket launcher instead of his mortar, I agree with you, is a very shitty thing. I do like the addition to the snowboard, though.
Yeah.
However, the Techno Viper, oh my God, this figure is perfection.
Mm-hmm.
The only way that this figure could have been any better would have been if they'd given us a second hose like the original had, so we could have the gun plugged in and one of his tools at the same time.
Yep.
But they did give us the wrist hologram, which I do believe makes up for the lacking hose. But yeah, the Techno Viper, 100% getting my vote on this one. Bullwinkle, I leave it to you.
Okay. Let's talk about the Snow Serpent, the deluxe version right here. It was really, really nice. For whatever reason, Hasbro really likes to put some money and effort and accessories into their Arctic line for whatever. And I'm good with that. They need it. They need certain footwear to be out in the snow or a snowboard. And I dig the addition to the wolf hat that he can put on and all that. It's just, it makes it a really cool figure. It doesn't really hit that nostalgia button for me. I didn't have one of these as a kid. I kind of recall seeing it sometimes, but I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal for me. But the figure's great. The accessory layout's great. Now let's talk about this Techno Viper. This figure is absolutely beautiful. That purple, even though the purple right here looks great, but it looks even better in person. And I have my original Techno Viper that I had as a child, and it's always been one of my favorite figures. I would say that when I was a kid, the Techno Viper, White Shirt Outback, and Hit and Run were my three favorite. And there's still some of my three favorites. I can't wait. Another story, but I can't wait for them to make Hit and Run. Back to the Techno Viper. It's going to totally get my vote. I don't even think if they make a retro card version, what they're going to change on it, except taking out the hologram. That's the only thing they could is just take it out of the package, I think. But with that being said, man, he gets my vote all day, every day, Techno Viper.
All right. Casual, how about you?
Wow. Snow Serpent, lots of accessories. I like everything that was mentioned about the wolf hide or whatever, and the snowboard. He's got a lot, man. He's got a lot. Was at a higher price point too, though. But for me, it's the Televiper. End vote. It's the Televiper.
Techno Viper.
Techno Viper. Excuse me. I think they did really well with that, and the hologram, like y'all were pointing out, the hologram on the arm was dope. So yeah, final vote goes with the Techno Viper.
Nice. And Curtis, is the Techno Viper getting a clean sweep here?
Hell no.
Yeah, fight for it.
There's always one in a group.
Yeah, there always is. But like, if you compare these two and what they came with, the snow, the Snow Serpent came with better stuff, just better stuff. I mean, I have nostalgia towards it as well, but man, they like really nicely upgraded that. I think I saw when I was a kid the Televiper or the Techno Viper once, and I was like, no. Did not like the purple at all. Now this new one though is really nice. It's a really nice figure. It's got great stuff. Works well. It's got a better purple on it. But still, it's just too many soldiers with bright colors. I just don't get that. But my vote goes with The snow serpent.
Boo.
All right. No, he's entitled. He's entitled. See, I like the reason that I like the purple on the Techno Viper is because in my mind, purple represents the science division of Cobra, right? Mindbender's purple. The Televiper has the purple vest. The Techno Viper's purple, you know. So that's why I never had a problem with the purple on it. But, you know, with 20 points added to the Techno Viper, Techno Viper now has a score of 108.
Ooh.
And in spite of Curtis' protests, the Snow Serpent is a loser.
Bum, 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 bum.
Well, see,
Wow.
Snow
Get him
Serpent,
out of here.
he's a dude's dude. The Techno Viper's like the gay friend you have.
Nice.
No, man. See, you got it backwards there. Snow Serpent is the guy. He hangs out in the cold because when you come to the cold, he wants to cuddle up with you.
Right? They get all naked and huddled together.
No, they got
It's
all that gear
for
on. They don't
warmth.
need that. They don't need that. They don't need that stuff with all that.
Anyways, this is your final screen for this battle. Despite Curtis' protest, the Techno Viper is the champion. And we move on to the final battle of the night. Cobra Commander.
Mm.
The file name and birthplace that should be classified. Versus, well, here's the Cobra Commander's initial scores. Very good scores. Third highest scores of the entire battle so far. So second highest scores was Snake Eyes. But he's going up against Serpentor, the Cobra Emperor. And Serpentor's initial scores were the highest in the entire battle with 96 points. Pretty fantastic. So Serpentor versus Retrocard Cobra Commander. Bullwinkle, it is your turn to start.
Man, you left me with a tough one, didn't you? Woo! Okay, let's talk about these two bad boys. All right. Let's talk about the Serpentor. We all know how hard it was to get, the anticipation, how much the money was going to be for it. Everybody had their thoughts, right? But we all knew we loved it. We all knew we had to have it. We all needed to have that air chariot. We all had to have Serpentor. Serpentor is great. You know, think about G.I. Joe, you think about Serpentor. It's a great box display. It hits the nostalgia button. The figure's great. I didn't give the figure a 5. I gave it a 4. For a couple QC issues, maybe. Not really QC. Just things that they decided to do that I wasn't happy with. Like if you take out the dagger on his arm, or that one that's part of it, if you take it out, it's a large hole there. But I know that's the way they had to do it. My torso wasn't the best. I think some people's torsos were kind of janky. I think that the cape should have came wired, especially for the price point, and it being I think it was a Comic-Con exclusive, San Diego, I believe. But then let's fly. You know, once again, for the price point, it's still great with that air chariot. That's a wonderful, wonderful accessory, wonderful vehicle. However you want to classify that, it's great. But let's talk about this Cobra Commander. I was one of those ones that got the his tank, had to have that Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander. I knew that they were eventually going to make a Cobra Commander that wasn't Mickey Mouse. I wasn't even thinking that they were going to make the face chrome like that. And when they did that, it made this figure money. It made it money. And the blue's perfect, man. And it doesn't have a lot of accessories, but it doesn't need a lot of accessories. That is Cobra Commander, what he came with when we were kids. It's tough. God, it's tough. Because if you ask me, I think that Cobra Commander is one of the top G.I. Joe classifieds of 2024. But then again, when the Serpentor came out, he was also one of the tops. The Cobra Commander is fairly new. I'm looking at him right now, right? The Serpentor has been put away in a closet for the past 2 years. I got to think about that as well. I'm gonna go with
Help
We'll
him
go
out. Chat. Help him out.
I'm gonna go with Cobra Commander.
Yes.
Cobra Commander. He's
Yes.
getting it. Yes, he's getting it.
What?
Yes.
What?
Casual, you're next.
Oh my god. Oh my god. All right.
I'll go on Cobra Commander.
Both. All right. Both fantastic figures. I love them both. I backed his tank. I had to have the Mickey Mouse shit. I knew that they were gonna make another Cobra Commander. This one, his hood, it's so glossy, man. It's wet. It's like mirror. They did a good job. It's a bummer. It wasn't much to the accessories. I mean, we got some point hands, and then, but we got to talk about Serpentor again. Like the fantastic packaging. When he pops in the storyline, Cobra Commander becomes Starscream, and like for real, he man, just I had him as a kid. I loved it. I just love the dynamic of, you know what I'm saying, how he just stepped in and overshadows Cobra Commander. I just thought it was epic, man. My overall and the accessories, man, the chariot, the snake, the staff, the claw hands, man. It was hard to get. It was a little harder to get. You had to you had to catch it. The overall vote is going with Serpentor. He's the man. He's awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Sergeant Schultz, give us your opinion. This I command.
We'll put a little stank on it. No. Let's go. Like, hey, Serpentor, great box, great accessories, nostalgic. I didn't like the back Cobra thing, just because the color to me, mine is off. So I don't know if that's just mine, but my color's off on that part. And then
I still think it's your yellow glasses.
no, it's for sure. Cobra, well, yeah, Cobra Commander, nostalgic, but you know what? He's a better character, a better figure. He might have got, when Serpentor came, Serpentor was made from all these cool, different, old, vicious fucking leaders, man. But he still couldn't win at all. So I never got it. It was just like Cobra Commander over again. So
that is true.
And then Cobra Commander came back and just like whooped his ass in like 5 minutes. And turned him into a snake as well. But I'm gonna go with Cobra Commander. I'm giving him my points.
All right. So that's two for Cobra Commander, and now it's my turn. All right. So talking on this Cobra Commander figure, I do think he's perfect. I think it's a fantastic figure. It's everything it needed to be. The chromed out face is great. I'm not going to fault him for having less accessories because he shouldn't have them. However, if I had to fault Serpentor on anything, like Bull, I don't like the hole that's left in his arm when he doesn't have the wrist claws on.
Yeah, same here.
But that wouldn't bother me as much were the wrist claws gold. Like the rest of him. Like, why is there this gray that sticks out like a sore thumb?
Exactly.
But that's my only complaint about Serpentor. Everything else about this figure is magnificent.
Lies.
I had no trouble with his torso like Bull did. I had no trouble with color displacement like Curtis did. I love the staff. I love the air speeder. I love the options to use the different headdresses on him, depending on what look you want and whether or not you want him to be able to turn his head. And most of all, I love the fact that he comes with that stiffened out snake that I could put Duke in a coma with. It's pretty fantastic. And as much as I love that Cobra Commander figure, as high as he will rank on my top 20 in a week or so, my vote goes to Serpentor. And we are leaving the tiebreaker in the hands of Digital Caveman.
That's only because he's got gold.
Well, I think you guys have pretty much said it all by the time it's come back around to me. I mean, you know, the Serpentor is a great figure. He comes with great accessories. And the same with Cobra Commander. Now, I kind of knocked a point off of Cobra Commander for accessories because the backpack wasn't quite what I wanted. And I didn't want that piece molded into his back like the original figure had, but I wanted the backpack to be like that, where it just kind of pressed in. But you know, after talking with Prophet about it last week or week, I don't remember when we talked about it. You know, it makes more sense for it to be kind of more like a holster than just that where it presses in to the backpack. So and even though I rated one of these guys a 20 and one of them a 19, I'm gonna reverse that and I'm gonna go with Cobra Commander over Serpentor.
Yes,
Cobra Commander.
yes!
He comes from behind,
Woo!
and Cobra Commander wins
Yeah, by
by
1 point.
1 point.
Yep.
One measly point. He gets a score of 107, and Serpentor
I don't want to play
can
no.
command all he wants, but he is a loser.
I'm out. I don't even want to play.
That plan
Serpentor lost. It's amazing that I'm shocked. The underdog. The underdog.
Kaz is taking his Serpentor and going home.
Damn, man, that kind of surprises me.
This is rigged.
Like, honestly, this is what I thought was going to happen. But now we get this. This is the end screen here. Oh, my goodness. What a shocker.
Oh, wow.
You know,
that was,
and honestly, I was kind of hoping for a Sergeant Slaughter versus Serpentor battle at the end, but that is now impossible.
But y'all messed that up now.
I'm telling you guys, I almost picked
the
Serpentor, almost, but I changed it. Something about that Cobra Commander, man. He just hits it for me.
yeah.
He does. He does. I can't deny he's an amazing figure.
It's that back metal mask, man. Even though the original figure didn't have that.
You're shocked.
Yeah, Kaz and I are both in disbelief at the moment.
Yes, I see. Kaz is going to jump on his air chariot and go home.
What's the chat think about that?
The results for the night.
Yeah, I put it up on screen. They were like, "Wow."
So the results for the night are as follows. And next week's battle. So the Eel lost to Copperhead, and the Iron Grenadier lost to the Bat. So it'll be Copperhead versus the Iron Grenadier Bat next week. The Baroness defeated Storm Shadow, and therefore will go up against the Crimson Guard next week, who beat the Cobra Officer.
Oh, wow.
Then the Hiss Driver defeated the Televiper. So the Hiss Driver will be going up against Scrap Iron, who defeated Road Pig.
Yikes.
And then the Techno Viper won his battle against the Snow Serpent, but now has to face the Retro Card Cobra Commander next week.
Oh, man.
So those are going to be our battles for next week, folks. And we'll also do so next week we're going to be doing round 2 for both the Joes and Cobra. So be here for that. I think this went pretty well, fellas. With the exception of the shocking victory at the end for Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to end with him going, "Once a man, I was once a man." Instead,
he's singing, "I am the man."
Hit the bench.
I think
Loser,
the vote is
this I command.
I am the man.
Crazy, shocking ending. And there you have it. I think we'll stay on for a few more minutes to give the chat a couple of minutes to chime in. Curtis, if you wouldn't mind addressing the chat a bit and responding to anything they have to say. I will be back in 1 minute. I need to go and I need to empty something and fill something else. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
His rental period has expired.
That it has.
Rob 78. Coco is a buffoon.
Man, what an upset. What an upset.
That wasn't an upset.
Rob, I agree. Cobra Commander is a buffoon.
I can't believe Cobra Commander has to go against a Techno Viper for me next week. That's going to be tough.
We know how that's going to go.
Yeah.
The same way it went today with Serpentor.
Come on, man. It's hard to beat that Chrome.
I'm in shock. I'm like, I thought Serpentor was walking away with the best figure ever.
It says there's 9 people here, but I don't know if that includes us.
No, on screen.
We got Old School Cats, me, Rob 78. Domus Dugan's here now.
If you got it playing on your phone or something, that counts as a view. But anybody on screen is not a view. Is not a counted viewer.
Oh, I'm not watching on anything else.
You had there's a lot
Mark
of people
Mark Cosplay, shout.
Rob 78, Old School, Mark Cosplay, Danny Berry Sports Highlights.
Look at this. Mark Cosplay back. It was like, Baroness, Kurt, the Baroness. And he's like, come on, Kurt.
M3 was in here in the beginning.
Was he?
Yeah, at the very start, he said he had to go.
Oh, yeah, that's
I think
right.
with
Yeah.
his wife.
Yeah, and I said,
He was
tell
going
your
out with his
wife that.
wife.
He says, yo, it sucks, right? So he's saying that it sucks that he can't be here. I'll miss the live stream tonight. I'll be out with Chrissy.
I could have sworn I saw he was live a little bit ago.
I was like, tell Chrissy. I respond by, tell Chrissy that. That sucks you can't come live with him.
Oh, no, that was the old one.
Recount the votes. This I command.
Yes.
I ain't counting shit.
I think there were some votes in Georgia that didn't make it.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Ed doesn't know anything about G.I. Joe, and he lives in Georgia, so his vote doesn't count.
Oh.
Yay.
It didn't count last time either.
No, it didn't. He was
funny.
here for a few minutes. This
He's
time
on-
he didn't.
Yeah, I
He
saw
didn't
it.
join last time. He was,
Yeah.
you know,
He
was
can
like-
only say it looks
He was
cool.
like, "Yeah, y'all are doing live stream without me." I'm like, "Dude, you don't know anything about GI Joe."
Right? Hey, he did a live stream without us about his like half-inch of snow in his backyard earlier.
Well, I didn't want to talk about that, did you?
And I know snow. And I know snow.
Kaz could have talked with him about that.
Yeah.
I think you got more snow than he did.
I think
Y'all probably live across town from each other.
I think I actually got the most snow of anyone on the panel. Here in Chicago, I got about 6 inches.
we had 4. We had 4 inches. That's it.
I don't even know what we got.
We had about 2.5, and about an inch of it was ice, but that was good for sledding.
I'm in
Hey,
Surrey at like 4 inches.
All right. Well, before we
I
drift too far from the GI Joe conversation, because we're still live, I'd like to address the chat. Chat. Curtis has Sergeant Schultz has put the link in the chat. We're going to end the stream here in a minute, and we're going to do a little backstage for a little while. Anyone who wants to join us, now is the time. Raw Talk, if you want to come on and talk to us. Delmis, Rob 78, Old School,
Mark Cosplay.
Mark Cosplay. Any of you guys that want to jump in and have a little conversation with us, that's all well and good. We welcome you. We're more than happy to have you. And Curtis is going to shut down the stream in just a couple of minutes here. But yeah, I think this went well, guys. I think this was a very good show.
Your mom.
Sam. Join us,
even
Sam.
though Sam, hey Sam, how's it going?
Join Sam.
Yeah, even though Kaz and I are a little disappointed that we don't get to see our Sergeant Slaughter versus Serpentor battle at the end of this thing. I still think it's a very good, very fair way we're doing this here. And at this point, I have to say on the Cobra side, I think Scrap Iron might be my favorite. Don't tell Baroness.
Mm.
Well, we seen anybody can lose. We seen anybody can lose tonight.
Well, we
It was fixed.
got Raw Talk.
What's
I still think that Techno Viper is my fave.
How can Baroness defeat Storm Shadows beyond my belief? Storm Shadow is the greatest Cobra ever known to man. He beat up a tank and it fell apart.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but we're voting on the action figures, not the
Well,
characters
yeah,
overall.
but y'all didn't count the retro when they corrected the retro version, which Cass alluded to with the hands.
But Raw, what you have to consider is this is the best figure in the Profit Directors collection, and I don't have the retro one.
Oh man, that's a problem.
I missed that retro one too. I need to go back, but it's so expensive now.
Yeah.
They want a lot of money for them now. I need to.
Yeah. Nah, but I mean, it was good. I like it. I like what y'all doing with it. It's pretty cool. The showdown and stuff like that. Serpentor, I think some Cobra Commander paid somebody in shaving cream or something.
Right, he used that drugged up baby oil he got from Diddy.
Nah, but this is excellent, man. Y'all really got some insights on it, man, and I appreciate it, man. It's definitely dope what you guys are doing, man.
Well, thank you. It was all Bull's idea.
Glad you liked it. I might do brackets again in the future for the vehicles.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Curtis, for the shout out. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah. Is a great gives the viewer insight on how y'all think about the design and what goes into your point of view of what figure looks great, ideal for a collection in some instances. I mean, it's dope, man. Can't complain.
Hey, Kurt.
Yeah, and we got it done in under an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We're still live.
Yeah.
That's what's up. If I was on there, it'd be like 4 hours.
Curtis is gonna shut this thing down, and we're gonna go backstage. The link is there if anyone wants to join us.
Yep. Thank you guys for coming. Enjoy, share, like, subscribe to everybody.
Right. Check out all the panelist channels.
Yeah.
I'm just the Profit Director. You can find me on YouTube as the Profit Director.
Digital Caveman. You can find him under Digital Caveman and Friends.
Digital's got his information under his name there. Casual Toy Chat. You can find Kaz Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Bullwinkle. He appears on Curtis's channel, Kaz's channel, Digital's channel, Ed's channel, Geek Homeworld. That would be for Ed's channel. He appears on M3 Reviews channel. He appears on Pax channel over at what's Pax channel called again, Bull?
3 Live.
3 live stream.
3 Live Stream. There you go. 3 Live Stream. Sorry, I was drawing a blank for a second there.
Yep.
So and then obviously Sergeant Curtis Schultz right here. We'll be here again next Sunday. Please come and join us if you want to see what happens in round 2 for both G.I. Joe and Cobra.
Yeah, and if you want to join our Banger Society OnlyFans, sometimes Sunday nights until we get together and do a backstage. But it's only for like movies and TV shows and stuff. It's not a real
Right. Because the way you said that, it sounded like a porno thing.
Yeah.
Bangers Society OnlyFans.
Yes.
Show that shows
Yeah,
on
hey, just so none of you in the chat get the wrong idea. There are no naked women on the Bangers Society. So
No.
only
no
G.I.
naked men
Joe.
either, so that's not a drawback. But
Only
that
G.I.
depends.
Joe action figure told.
That depends on if M3's showing off some of his figures.
Oh no!
Right. That is true. That is 100%.
That is correct.
All right. That being said, thank you guys really so much for coming. Keep watching. We appreciate it. Keep putting your input. We appreciate it. Thank you for everything. The Lord Jesus Christ, God is my Savior, and all that good stuff.
There is.
We might get in arguments, but we tend to make up really quick and still be friends. So
Yeah, no kissing.
it's a good place. You guys have a great night and a good Monday. Later.
Later, everybody.
Later.